Okay, genuine question. How is Terraria still this good? This game came out in 2011, which is so weird to think about because every time you come back, it doesn't feel like you're revisiting an old game per se. It feels like you're returning to a world that's still somehow relevant, still evolving, and still surprising you. And here's the weird part, it's not because Terraria has infinite content per se. I mean, I personally love 1.4.5 overall, but it's not these long-awaited updates that drive its infinite replayability as much as one might think. It's actually because Terraria is built around something way more powerful than content. It's built around core systems, and once you see it, trust me, you can't unsee it. Here's the simplest way I can explain Terraria's design. In most games, features are like islands. In Terraria, everything is a web. Biomes affect enemies, loot, materials, progression. NPCs affect where you build, how you travel, how you route the world. And the craziest part is, none of these systems are one and done, they keep interacting. So whenever you start a new world, it's not just the same content again, it's the same ingredients, but the recipe changes every time. Different seed, different biomes, different dungeon placement, different ores, different luck. And suddenly you're doing the same progression, but making different decisions. That's why Terraria feels so endless, not because there's infinite content, but because there's endless decision space. Alright, let's talk about beating Terraria, because this game technically does have an endpoint. Moonlord, credits, done. But nobody here plays Terraria like that, I should hope. Moonlord isn't the end. Moonlord is basically the game saying, alright, now you're free, now you can do whatever you want. And that's why classes matter so much, not because the game forces you into them, but because they change the experience overall. Melee does not feel like ranged, Summoner does not feel like mage, and then the modded class systems go even crazier. Same bosses, same world, but different playstyles transform it into a completely different game with a completely different experience. And Terraria is one of the few games where restarting does not feel like starting over at all, it feels like starting again. Which is a weird thing to say, but if you know, you know. Now, let's talk about Terraria updates, just like the recent 1.4.5 that real ones have been waiting on longer than GTA 6. Here's why I love the way Relogic updates Terraria. They don't usually drop some giant, look at this huge new thing, expansion, and call it a day, nah. They do this much more risky thing. They make small changes that quietly expand on what the game can become. And 1.4.5, while some may disagree with me, to me it's the perfect example of this. It's not just some flashy Terraria 2 moment, it's another refinement, a flexibility, polish, stuff that makes the game more playable for the vets long term, whilst also more accommodating for new players. And more importantly, it makes the game more replayable, because the game gets better at supporting how people actually play Terraria. Experimenting with loadouts, running new worlds constantly, switching their styles mid-playthrough, playing modded without any friction. 1.4.5 isn't just about new content, it's Relogic making the sandbox deeper than ever before, which means even if you've played Terraria for years, you come back and it feels slightly different, there's more stuff, it's smoother and it's more refined. It's still Terraria, but it's sharper. Alright, let's talk about mods, because this controversial statement, mods did not save Terraria, mods did not fix Terraria. Terraria made mods inevitable because the game is basically designed like its own modular machine. If your core systems in a game are biome language, boss progression logic, crafting escalation and class-based loadouts, then mods aren't forced to reinvent the game, they can extend the game. And that's why these huge expansion packs like Calamity and Thorium and Fargo's Soul Mod, they work so well, not because it's big, but because it speaks Terraria's language. It plugs directly into Terraria's progression, its bosses, its biomes, and the loot escalation. And it still feels like Terraria for that reason. It's just turned up. And that's why the mod scene does not kill vanilla in the slightest. It doesn't split the community the way it does in other games. Because Terraria in its vanilla state isn't obsolete, it's the foundation, it's core. Mods don't replace Terraria, they remix Terraria, and that's a massive reason that the game will never run dry. So why don't more games do this? Why don't more games have this kind of longevity? Well, it's really down to the fact that this design philosophy is hard. It requires restraint, patience, understanding how these core systems interact, and honestly, not treating players like they need constant novelty. AAA games nowadays tend to work like expansions overwrite old content, and these content islands don't interact. The new systems replace the old ones. And Terraria, man, it strives in doing the opposite. It keeps old systems alive by constantly giving them a new context, growing inward. And that's why the game feels so timeless. So yeah, Terraria never runs out of content, because it isn't actually powered by content. It's powered by possibility. A world where your decisions matter, where old mechanics stay relevant, where replaying the game doesn't feel repetitive anymore. And every update, including the quieter ones like 1.4.5, doesn't just add to the pile, it deepens the web. That's the secret, and once you see that, you realize that Terraria could actually keep going forever. And honestly, I kind of hope it does. I'll be talking about Terraria and delving into all aspects of the game on this channel. Mods, news, you name it, I'll be covering it. Why not claim your Blight Time C by hitting subscribe and watching this journey unfold? You won't regret it. Thank you so much for watching my first ever video on this channel, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.